Hey everybody, it's your girl Taj, and I'm back. It's been 2 weeks, and your girl's been sick. Yeah, sick. Like the devil thought he had me, but I got away. I am so grateful to be back with all of you. If you are here, just stop by and say hello. Don't forget to comment, like, and share, whether you are on Facebook or on YouTube. Let me know you're here. I see we have a few people on. Don't be scared. Say hi. Hey, Jackie. If you're on, don't be scared. Definitely stop by. Let me know who you are. Say hi to your girl. I'm so excited to be back on. And this is gonna be a fun topic tonight. It's fun. It's a topic that I love to talk about. If you know me, you know I love love. And so don't forget to like, share, subscribe, follow. Just stop by and say hi. I see y'all coming in on Facebook. Just make sure y'all say something. I see JP on. How you doing? I see Pastor Haynes is on. How are you? Don't forget to share, guys. And so, before we bring anyone on, we definitely have some. Hey, JP, how are you? I'm so happy to see some of the fellas on tonight. Come on, guys. I'm proud of y'all. And so tonight we are gonna just show you some of the sponsors for tonight's episode. So we have No More Secrets Inc. It is a nonprofit that deals with the topic of domestic violence in the church. Next, we have Naturally Classy Consulting, where we help turn your hobby into a business. We get you your LLC, your nonprofit paperwork, your 501c3, anything to help you start your business and turning it from a hobby into a legitimate business. And we also have Naturally Classy. Now, if you know me, you know that I'm a naturally classy kind of girl. And so, Naturally Classy is the brand will take care of you from your head to your toes. We believe in taking what God made to help heal what God made. And so, we are starting tonight's podcast with my girls. One is missing, but we have the five squad. Right now we're one down, one man down. But there is a group of women that I have been blessed and afforded to be a part of, and we meet just about every day. And specifically, we deal with the topic of new kingdom marriages. And we are praying and preparing ourselves and praising God for our future kingdom spouses. And so I said we're gonna talk about dating in the church. I know in October I was talking about a lot of heavy topics, like heavy topics. But I wanted to lighten it up a little bit. And so tonight we're gonna have fun. It's just gonna be some girls talking about what it's like to date while we in church. And should we date while we in church? And so tonight we are going to bring on my girls, bring on one by one. First is Dr. Shaman Caster. Hey, Shaman.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you for coming on. Next, we have Pastor Jackie Gilchrist.
Hey, how's it
Hey,
going?
Jackie. You.
Definitely looking forward to being here. Thank you.
Thank you for coming on. And last but definitely not least, we have our girl Tracy Gooding coming on.
Hi
Hey,
guys,
Tracy.
how are you?
Good.
Thank
How
you.
are you?
I'm good.
So, we just got off of our own podcast. So we fresh off of first topic. We was talking about our what was it, love styles, right, Shaman?
Mhm.
Hmm.
Okay, and so tonight we are gonna talk about who we do in church.
Mm,
Now, when you hear
amen.
that topic, when you hear that topic, what comes to your mind? Can we? Should we?
So, can I should I start out?
Yes, Pastor.
Please. Oh,
So the first word that comes to me is cautiousness. That's the first word that came to my mind. Cautiousness. Being cautious because there's so much at stake. Especially depending on your role in ministry, your seriousness about ministry. So being cautious is definitely where it just jumps out like at me, like, yeah. So I I could go deep, or we could come back to it, or but yeah, that's what comes to me.
Okay, Shaman. Can we date in
Um,
church?
I think so, but you gotta set boundaries, especially if you are navigating into ministry, and especially if you are really taking the Word of God seriously. You really should really date with by setting boundaries, and by also knowing who you are and what you're willing to tolerate and not tolerate. Because otherwise, you could put yourself in a position that is compromising, and then that will create a whole new set of issues that we could go deep into later on. But for now, I'll just say you could date with boundaries that are specific boundaries that are set, and having being able to hold yourself accountable for what you allow or you're not allowed to do.
Tracy, can we date in church?
yeah, yeah, you can. Um, I would think though that hold a position you hold, whether you hold an office, that you have to be careful. I would think that your dating would need to be intentional, not just anybody at any time, but intention where you will have an idea of what what the end goal is, and you're not just out and about putting yourself in a position to look crazy.
Right. Well, our fifth member is here. So I want to bring on Kalicia. Kalicia, you're on the stage. Show your face. If she tried, she tried. Um, so right, probably did. But so we're talking about dating, right? And Jackie brought up the word cautiousness. Now, before we dive into that, because I feel like when we go into that, it's about to get real deep real quick. Does the Bible say anything about dating? I haven't heard of any scriptures about dating. I don't know anything.
Well,
I,
I can make
I
a
haven't
case
heard it.
in the Bible.
Wow.
Has anybody heard or read scripture?
Well,
You took the wrong one.
so,
Okay,
so
go ahead, yeah, Pastor Jackie.
Yes, go ahead,
But
Jackie.
I do have an idea
no,
where I want to go with this.
you want to go? Go ahead. Go ahead.
Because to me, I thought Jacob was trying to date Rachel because he worked for her for 7 years while he was trying to get to know her. I think it's our definition of dating. To me, dating simply means you're trying to get to know somebody and what their likes, their dislike. Jacob did it for 7 years. Actually, he ended up, but when he married her, it was 14 years he was working for her, but he kind of courted her. When he went to the father, expressed his intention, and the father said, "Yeah, you could marry my daughter, but I'm gonna need you to work for it." He said, "Okay, pops, I'll work for you." And I'm paraphrasing. He worked for 7 years, but he got a chance to know her because he know her at a certain level. And to me, that was dating. I think right now is what is the true definition of dating. And I think that because we have a misconception of what dating is, it created a whole kind of connotation that's kind of always incorporates some sort of sexual undertone, which is why that we could see that dating as could be not something that's in the church or in the Bible. I leave it to you, Pastor Jackie, for your perspective.
So we do know we hear the word betrothed, right? And so pretty much it was something that was established prior to, and so with that, it wasn't as if, because when we think of dating, we think of many times it being more than one person. Why? Because we're collecting data, right? And so we can collect data from a number of people, right? However, that wasn't the case then. It was this person, this is going to be your person, right? So you're not going to figure out anything about John and James, when you've been already set to marry Peter, right? And so dating in that sense, no, it didn't occur. It wasn't like, okay, well, if it don't work with Simon, then Lazarus is my dude. No, that wasn't the case, right? If it was going to be Lazarus, it was Lazarus, right? And that you was going all the way with Lazarus. And when I say all the way, I mean as far as leaving
Marriage.
the home and marrying Lazarus, and you all would go ahead and live your life together. So when we look at dating in that aspect, no, that did not occur. So we definitely have a different take on what dating is now. So
So biblically, would you consider what they did in the Bible days courting versus dating? And do you think there's a difference with dating versus courting? Because for me, Jacob, he worked for Rachel, like that was a courtship, right? I think this is Tasha. This is not theologically sound. This is just Tasha's version and perspective. Um, I think when you're courting, the goal is marriage, right? So you're taking the necessary steps in order to achieve the goal, which would be marriage. Um, Biblically, they had to pay dowries. They, they had to. They were arranged marriages. They didn't have the opportunity to date. They didn't have the opportunity to collect data on a specific person or multiple people and then make their own decision. So, do we think it was more okay? So, someone in the comments said, then women married off, so it wasn't dating, it was business. And sometimes it was true, right? So it was families marrying into other families because
Mhm.
it made it look good, or they wanted to make sure the wealth of this family and the wealth of this family blended together, and so the families would be better off. Hey, Terrell, that's Bishop Ibasha. Y'all know him. That's the bishop that plays the tambourines with me in the sound booth sometimes.
Oh,
um, I just want to say hi to everybody.
yes.
Hi everyone coming in. Hi Tanya. Hi Terrell. Hi cousin Marnie. Hi Corey. Terrell said, "Bless you, daughter. Bless you, sir." Um, and so he brings a very valid point when it comes to it being a business, um, and them not dating. It was more so arranged marriages or courtships, if that. Hi, Darlene. And so I know, I'll say this, I'll jump to this modern day. I've been a part of a ministry where they didn't believe in you dating. They believed in if you liked a person, you would go out together in a group of friends. You would get to know each other within that group of friends, right? You would then go and pray, ask the Lord if this particular person was your person. You hear from God, they hear from God. If both of you get a yes, y'all then come together, go for the pastor, tell the pastor this is what our intention is, and you begin your courtship and you end up getting married. There was no, I'm gonna try. I think I like this person. I'm gonna go out on a couple of dates with this person in church. Oh, it didn't work with them. I'm gonna go out with the next person I see in the church. Oh, it didn't work with them. I go out with the next person I see in the church, and then we dating everybody in the church.
Right. And when you're tired, you go on to the next one.
Oh, Pastor Hayes' question. He said, "How did that work out?" Well,
Right.
some of those marriages are still together. I didn't take that route. And we all know how my marriage ended up. But I shouldn't have got married to begin with. So that was it. Um, and Terrell said, "Thank God you're not in that church no more. That sounds like a suspect spot."
you,
we bless God. We leave it there. Um, but I've seen the pros and cons of it. I'll say that. It reminded me of more some of the um, Midwestern, those evangelical Midwestern churches where they almost kind of borderline arrange the marriages between the children,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
and then you get the 9 kids and counting situation. But whatever. But how do you? Okay, growing up in church, I saw everybody date everybody in church, right? And G, I know you. Oh Lord, here we go. Sounds like a mini cult. Oh Jesus, we're not talking about that tonight. First of all, I just want to say I love to see that there's a lot of men on the podcast tonight, and that never happens. So shout out to the men for showing up tonight. You're coming in heavy. But for Shaman and Tracy and Jackie, if you grew up in the church, because I can't take for granted that everybody grew up in the church, did you see a lot of the dating going around? Like, I grew up where I saw teenagers, right, just dated everybody. It was a mess. To be honest, it was a mess.
Right. Yeah, yeah, no, definitely. I think that was the case where you dated. Here I go with the names again. You dated John for 3 months. That didn't work out. Tina looked cute, so now you over there and you kicking it with Tina, and so everybody's taking turns with everybody, and more than likely, everybody was sleeping with everybody at the same time, so you definitely, and this is what I believe. I believe that when we do all of this dating, we really end up in a lot of issues that we could have avoided, right? Honestly speaking, no, we're not in that, in that time where the marriages are arranged, but at the same time, look at everything that can go on and that happens when you date a good 5 to 10 people, and that's putting it lightly, before you actually get married, before you find that one. That we got a whole lot of uh whether it's STDs, a whole lot of unwanted or unplanned pregnancies, because you're giving everybody a try and you're in love with everybody, whereas, at that time, guess what? It's like you've been arranged to marry this person right here. You've cut out the unplanned pregnancies. You've cut out any STDs and whatever else, the emotional stress and the strain because they didn't want you anymore. And so now you got this trauma going on, and it's a lot that we deal with. And I'm not saying like from here on we should just have arranged marriages, but I'm just saying, like you mentioned, some of the benefits of not going through all of that, right? So we are placed in a lot of situations because we're free to just do whatever. And when we get tired of that, then hey, why not move on? And I feel like that's too why even now we have a society of just divorces and just all types of nonsense going on. So yeah.
Oh,
So Pastor Trav said, what did he say? It's gonna show up. He said, I think you can date, but people need to know the difference in dating and courtship and what it involves and what it doesn't. Um, and then he said, everybody ain't living on the wild side.
Not everybody,
Everybody,
but many bodies.
he said, having babies. I mean, and it's true though, right? So there does need to be a clear difference between um, what dating is and what courting is. Because you can date multiple people. You can. And it's nothing wrong with dating multiple people. I don't think it is. Sometimes you don't even know, for some people, they don't even know the type of person that they like until they get to know other people. Like, I didn't know that I really could not date an ignorant man until I dated an ignorant man. Right?
oh
I now know I have a pet peeve. If you pronounce L in salmon, it irritates the life out of me. I can't do it. I can't. I just can't do it. If you come to me and go, I like salmon, I'm going to scream. I can't do it. Mm-mm. You
So
have
what I'm
you
hearing
are
is that person
okay.
needs to be intellectually savvy. So one of your love style is that he needs to be intellectually. You need to be intellectually compatible with this individual, because if he says shrimp instead of shrimp, a library is a library. It's gonna blow you up.
I'm leaving. Absolutely not. If you're 49
I didn't.
and talking about Wait. Here, Pastor Trav, teach him how to pronounce it.
That part, he might be an amazing man and just messed up that one word because he's been hearing it wrong all his life. I just saw something. This guy, he's a doctor, and he was pronouncing a word wrong, and he pronounced it wrong on like live TV, right? And so the guy who was interviewing him said, "What did you just say?" And he repeated, "Oh, I know what it was." He said, I got a tubber bowl. And so the guy said, I'm sorry, what did you say? He said, a tubber bowl.
What is that?
He said, well, I said, tub. And the interviewer was like, are you kidding me right now? It's Tupper bowl. And the guy says, oh my gosh, like I'm literally like a whole doctor. And all my life, I've been pronouncing it Tupper bowl. A whole doctor, right?
You know what, Jackie?
And so he was like, I'm sure he was embarrassed.
No, I see what you're saying. I see it.
Very intellectual, obviously. Probably got good finances.
Yeah, I see what you're saying because here's some of the things that I've encountered as an educator. I'm sorry, I don't know, is there feedback? I was saying that I see what you're saying, Jackie, in terms of as an educator, you do hear people make sounds that are different based from what they're used to. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're not intellectually compatible with them. But I think what's happening is when their inability to conceptualize thoughts that make sense, that may be an issue. So then you consider, like, if you're saying shrimp instead of shrimp, and you may want to ask them to spell it for you just in case they've been hearing it wrong all their lives, and you may want to help them in correcting that. So I could see your perspective on that, and there's value added to that. So yes, you could miss out on the dude of your life just because he says salmon wrong, and then next thing you know, you end up with a dud. So I'm just saying, you may want to reconsider. I'm sorry.
Gotta hold on to that salmon.
He said, like we say, he wants his cake and it too, but the actual saying is, but it's he want his cake and eat it too. Like everybody says that one incorrectly, right? And then he said maybe he has a speech impediment. There's certain things that can be, looked over. Speech impediment. I have a speech impediment. Sometimes I think about words at the same time, and I don't know what word comes out, right? I get it, right? I get it. But there's a level of,
I think.
Is that a speech pathologist? Tell us.
It's deeper than just mispronouncing words, because everybody can have a slip up. That's not the problem. The problem is when you have mispronouncing words and just conversation that it is clear that you all are not intellectually compatible. It can't just be that he said shrimp instead of shrimp or salmon instead of salmon. It's deeper than that. If you are coming across as a I'm trying to use a nice word. You're just not coming across as though you are very bright. That's a problem. It's deeper than mispronouncing words. You are just
lacking intellectual capacity.
There we go.
Centralized thoughts.
Exactly. It's not just mispronouncing words. It's the whole kit. It's the whole
caboodle.
The whole thing. It's clear.
But let's be clear. That it's not just men. So I don't want it to seem like we're coming down on.
It's not just
men.
It's not just it's people in general. It's people in general. Right. If you there is a difference between, you know, someone, you know, that the person is intelligent, you know, that the person, you know, can speak well, they pronounce, you know, they mispronounce word. That's one thing. It's a whole nother animal when you are just, you're just not bright, and it's clear. It's clear.
Could
So
it
I'll
be
say that.
environmental? I'm sorry for asking this, and you know, because
No,
we
that's
need to
fine.
make sure we really understand intelligence versus um, being exposed to an environment that was not conducive to learning. Could it be that it was an environmental thing, but once that person is nicely groomed, put in an environment that could learn? Because the thing is, we know that intelligence and also environmental intelligence plays significant role in that person being able to learn, and because of that, we may actually what do you say? We actually peg somebody at a certain way when really they didn't have the capacity to develop intellectually to be able to do what they're supposed to do.
You can find people, there will be people that it is clear that they're intelligent, but they haven't been exposed for whatever reason. Maybe, you know, they didn't have the opportunity to go to school or whatever. But there is a fundamental, okay, because I teach with, and I've taught everything from little ones to college level. Even with little ones, there are children that you just know. You listen to them, you know, they're coming up with ideas and whatnot, and the child is bright. They may not have been exposed to that much because at that time maybe they're in, I don't know, kindergarten, first grade, second grade. But you can see that this is an intelligent child. This child is bright. Then there are some that are not as bright, right? And, you know, maybe exposing them to more things might help, because some of it, as you said, can be environmental. But there are just, and then there are, and I just think as an adult, you know, with children it's one thing, but I think as an adult it's important that you take the time out to learn. You
Yeah.
know, there are different things going on. It's not all book knowledge. You know, you expose yourself to different things, you go places, you spend time with people, you have conversations, you read. There are different ways of, you know, exposing yourself so that you are able to have a really good conversation, you know, a deep conversation, and a conversation that makes sense.
Yeah.
That part.
That makes
That part.
Yeah.
I was just going to add, you know, definitely I believe there can be some environmental factors, right? Um, we have, like, I went to school in Tennessee, right? And so
The other
there were
issue, right?
people there from a certain city, a certain city, right? And that they happen to be very country in this city. No offense to anybody from the country, but they happen to be very, so their dialect was, you know, very like, you know,
Well,
that man was Maine. What's up, Maine?
okay.
Right? But it was their way. And so this is the thing. They were very intelligent individuals, but when they said certain words, it was really bad, right? It was really country like, right? So did that take away from who they were? And some
No.
of them right now are doctors, and you know, and they're doing great things, you know. So we do have to be careful, you know, with that. Is it um that they're just totally, we got to be careful, because guess what, that might be the one that God is saying, hey, that's your husband, that's your spouse, you know, I'm going to do a great work in them and in their language and whatever they do, right? And so go forth and multiply, right? We got to be like careful. We just have to be careful, because we don't want to look at the wrong things, right? And miss out on what's right. So
Yeah,
we do have to be
but
mindful.
we're not looking at the physical component of it.
like
I
size.
mean, there's that physical aspect of it too. Like for me, I could be biased against somebody with a big body mass index that's greater than 40. and then say that this is not the person that's I'm compatible with. But then if we are compatible intellectually, as a dietitian, I can surely help you to bring that BMI down. But should that be the reason that we don't see the person? The brain is critical. It's important to have the intellectual capacity for us to communicate. But if I was to say that, you know what, hey, look, buddy, you know, your BMI is greater than 40, and you know, you lose a couple of pounds, and as a dietitian, I could surely help you to get there. There's that opportunity to process that information as well. So we got to look at not just the physical appearance, but the intellectual capacity is important for us to have a good relationship.
Okay, first of all, before anybody else speaks, I need y'all to understand. I need to bring some context to all of this. For the audience sake, Sherman is a doctor, a dietitian. So somebody's butt mass.
They can't understand you because you're laughing too hard. Dr. Shaman is a dietitian. So of course she would bring out the example of somebody's body mass being too high. Right? So please, yeah. Set it straight.
That's why we're laughing so hard and literally have tears. God for these
no, but in seriousness, so it's not just intellectual. We gotta look at there's the physical part, there's the intellectual. Like for example, for somebody like me who like to go hiking, right? So let's say that I meet somebody intellectually on point. Oh my God, we connect in that level. And then I said, okay, let's go hiking. I like hiking, and he knows that physical activity is important to me. Mile 2. He's like, and I'm thinking like, we about 10 miles. We about to go 10 miles on a hike, and we excited. He's like, oh, I'm out of breath. I mean, come on. When we're looking at the total package, is he not just intellectually, but is he spiritually there? Is it physically? Because there's some, you know, am I the only one here who has a preference for a certain level, certain BMI? Am I the only one who be like, no, I don't need somebody? No, don't y'all play me on this. Don't play me on this. You know, we all have our physical attraction. Yes, intellectual is right here for me. If I need to go hiking, come on, dude, I'm gonna need you to go with me because you need to go look out for me.
I don't know about anybody. I don't know anybody besides you that's a BMI preference. I'm sorry.
So okay, so in her defense, we probably look at it more as, you know, is the person chubby? Is the person bony? Right? Is the person, you know, a little obese? Like, so we wouldn't say BMI, but in her defense, we probably would look at it in a different way, right? Some of us like big, strong, you know, extra weighted individuals, and so yes, I'm sorry.
Big,
yeah, exactly.
Big, strong, and extra weight is two different people.
The extra weighted people can be strong. Yes, they can. Okay. They can be very strong. Maybe they became extra weighted after.
Well, you're like thickums. You like muscles, or you like thickums?
Yeah, because think about this. The muscle actually,
I think there is more.
Muscle could actually give you a higher BMI. Let me help with the audience. Like muscle could give you a higher BMI. So I'm talking the one that has the excess adipose tissues, the excess fat, where it's spilling over beyond the level of expectation, and then I'm gonna need to. So for me, that is not physically appealing. I'm just saying, like, just like you didn't like the man to mispronounce some words, there's certain things that we all need to say. Just like men are very visual, right? So are women, believe it or not. We just don't say it. So, but to me, if you're motivated, right, you have the excess adipose tissue, excess fat, you're motivated, I could help you with that. You know, that's what I do. But you gotta want to do it as well. So, but we're talking about dating in the church, right? We're talking about dating in the church, where we're talking about people participating in activities that is not godly, and that's excess eating, that's gluttony. That's what I'm talking about.
I don't understand how we got.
We
Hey, I won't be a comedian when I'm 80. What do you want me to do? Like,
I think there's more.
so we all have our
Motivated and
preference, right?
yes,
We do.
Yes, yes.
We do. And but let's just make sure, since we talk about the church, let's make sure they love Jesus. Amen.
there you go.
So yeah, let's just
Can we make sure that's the first? The first.
Yeah.
that's
First thing they love.
number one. Amen. Number one, they need to know the Lord. Amen. They need to be able to pray for me.
For real.
Yes, for real.
Amen.
And cover.
They need come on, cover. They need to be able. I don't want to be in a situation, and I've been there, where I say pray for me and I get looked at like I'm crazy. You know, like what?
Yeah.
Like I said, you know, go and yeah, I don't know. Like I said something strange. So for me to be in that situation, that's a problem, especially being that I'm in ministry, right?
Yeah.
So I need to know that I'm with someone who, when I need somebody to chase the enemy, guess what? They're ready. They got on their armor and they ready to go in hard, you know, in a good prayer for a sister.
And you know what, Jackie,
So,
I understand.
so that's of course the priority. Maybe I'll look at the later.
Yes, and I'm in agreement with you, Jackie. I just think, like, also physically, as a potential farmer, if I need somebody to help me to rig the ground and turn the ground over, I don't have to worry about the fact that physically you cannot handle it because of the excess. So, but there are some things that we need to have, we need to consider. We need to make sure that, hey, can you help me with the farm, brother? And at the same time, can you lay hands on me and pray for me? Because I'm gonna need you to help me out, help a sister out. So there's some things that we need to be, and you know, like I mentioned, I like to hike, I like to kayak, I'm learning how to swim, and I want to learn how to take tennis. So I'm gonna need you to be able to help me do some of these activities as well. So, and yes, I know you guys talk about dating and courting. There's a difference. You're right. Courting is when the intent is marriage. Dating is for the purpose of getting to know people at different levels. Courting is for the purpose of, you know, hey, I plan on getting married with you. Right. So, you know, that's my perspective. That's my 2 cents. I'm gonna go back here and lay down back my couch.
Girl, you gave like $5. You gave $5. But I want to go back to the man knowing, having a relationship with Jesus, right?
Mm-hmm.
Although we go to church, and I'm gonna tell you what I've been seeing in the dating pool. And let me be clear, the dating pool is very contaminated and it's full of fecal matter. Okay, and that's the nicest way I'm gonna say it. It's a lot out there, even in the church world. We're gonna keep it a buck tonight, right? So although there's a lot of people, both male and female, and I'm not harping on the men at all, because I've seen this on both sides. A lot of people go to church, but a lot of people don't believe in the same God, even though they're in the same church.
There you go.
Right? So
Yes.
when you're out there dating, it is very imperative that not only do you make sure the person not only knows the same God that you serve, meaning that of the Bible, not the universe, not crystals, not New Age mysticism, but the God of the Bible. That he also serves Jesus. That they also serve Jesus.
Mhm.
They have a relationship with Jesus. I know we all fun and games and stuff, but just like we need to be intellectually yoked, we need to be spiritually
For
yoked.
sure. Yes.
Because
Yes.
a man can't cover you if he don't serve the same God
That's right.
that you serving. A woman
That part.
can't if she don't serve the same God that you serving. You telling them to pray to God and they gonna hungary Kra yo or whatever the Buddhist chant is, and they going trying to sage the house and they go and try to rub two crystals together and put crystals outside on the new moon and all this other stuff. That's not the same God I serve. We
That
not
part.
aligned. That ain't it. That ain't right.
Mm-mm.
So I know I brought it down a notch, but we need to make sure that we serving the same God. If we talking about we operating and we trying to align ourselves and we trying to court, because the whole purpose is in dating, at least what I hope it is for Natasja Sharice. Um, the purpose in dating is to hopefully court and then get married.
Right.
And so just make sure before you get married that the person they serve the same God you serve. That's all I'm saying.
So not even before you get married, but that should be established at the beginning uh,
During
of
dating.
of dating,
Mm-hmm.
right? Hello, you know, do you do a Jesus test? Okay, Jesus. If they don't like do some type of shake or get excited in some way when you say Jesus, then something ain't right. They not quite there. You might have maybe you got to pray them through, see about it, If but if it's not there, it's not there, and so that's from the beginning. Our sister from before, she said that's part of her first conversation, right? She's like, so do you know Jesus, and what exactly do you know about him, and what does he do for you? Like who is Jesus to you? And if you don't get the right responses at the beginning, then don't why are you wasting your time?
Absolutely.
And because I honestly, some of us may have time to waste. I personally don't have time to waste, so I need to know early, because I don't want to go through these months and then 6 months down the line I find out that you don't know the Jesus I know, or you don't know Jesus at all, and now I wasted 6 months when I could have been okay getting to do something, getting to know
So,
somebody else.
well,
So
actually,
we can't play with that, especially when we're in ministry, especially when we're serious about this walk. That's one thing we can't play with. We could play with the fact that you can't say salmon. We could play with the fact that your BMI might not be according to the way Dr. Shaman wants it. We could play with the fact that I don't want to hike and you do. We could play with all that, but we can't play with Jesus.
yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm in agreement with that.
It's too scary. Too much is on the line. We talking about forever. We talking about till death do us part, right? We talking about raising a family together and securing legacy for the future. What's going to be your legacy if you guys can't even serve the same God?
And
It's nice to have money. People with money still have no peace. It's nice to have the finer things in the world. Wealthy people still commit suicide because they're miserable. If you don't serve the God of peace, it doesn't matter what legacy you decide to have when it comes to money or BMIs or proper diction or all the degrees in the world. You don't have God. So, yeah.
come
I
on.
want girlfriends for the. There's a lot of new people on the podcast tonight. I just want to say hi to everybody. There's a lot of new people on here. Girls, y'all done brought out peoples tonight. one of my girlfriends said, definitely, I think she meant can't play, being aligned with our purpose partner. And that's the thing. Your partner needs to be a purpose partner, not just somebody you're marrying. When I got married, my pastor at that time said, um, a marriage without a purpose is just an arrangement. And I will forever agree with that.
Intentional and purposeful.
Mm-hmm.
If it's not that, then it shouldn't even be. You're wasting your time. If it's not intentional, and the intention is, I'm looking at you right now to see if you can be my kingdom spouse. So it's intentional, and there should be a purpose in why you're dating, not because I'm bored, not because no, there's a purpose. The purpose for me to date is not to have fun, not to get hit off, or whatever the case may be. Guess what, right? The purpose of me dating is to have a kingdom spouse where we can do ministry together, because it's a ministry, right? Overall, it's a marriage is a ministry, right? And so in that ministry, you're doing in that ministry, guess what? You are doing ministry for the kingdom as well. And so that's why it has to be purposeful, so that there's no bumping heads. So if I'm believing that, if and we had this talk the other day, if I'm a Christian and my spouse is a Muslim, that something's not going to click right. So that's cute that, oh, we both believe in God, but no, when I need you to declare and decree some things, I need to know that you can do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I hear us venturing off into marriage, right? Because
we
that's what we do.
Okay,
that's what we do, right? Because we naturally go there. But I want to talk about dating some more, because it's not that easy, right? And it's easy to jump into the marriage topic because we hope that that's the end goal, right? The purpose of dating. But I want to talk about the hardships of dating in the church, right? Because it's not that easy when there's a lot of pressure, right? It's not that easy when society is, well, forget society. Let's talk about the church, right? You have an older generation that looks down on single people. The older generation that always likes to ask. Oh, I was freezing for a second. Older generation that always likes to ask, why you not married? Why you ain't got no kids? Or what's wrong with you? And all of us are single here, right? Has anybody ever dealt with the hardship of being single and in the church?
Can I go? Can I? I mean, I had to come to because, okay, so let me just say this. I'm from the islands. They want you to go to school as soon as you finish the school. Matter of fact, if you graduate on the 12th, the 13th, you should be getting married. But while you're in school, you're not allowed to see anybody. You're not allowed to date. Somehow, supernaturally, you're going to step out there. You're going to lie to your husband. You're going to get married within that first day. So, and I'm not being funny, because that's so when you're getting married in the church, they make it like, if you're not married, you can't be happy. You can't have a life. You can't do certain things. And then on top of it, not only do they treat you that way, like it's a plague or something, then the moment that you say you want to be married, this is the part that I really like. The moment you say, yeah, I would like to get married. Well, Marriage is not for everyone. Marriage is hard. Are you sure you're ready for marriage? Don't pray for marriage now, honey, because marriage is sex. You know, the thing is, you need to focus on Jesus. I'm like, wait a minute. 2 weeks ago, you were asking me if I'm getting married. Now that I tell you I'm ready to pray for me, and you giving me a lecture about whatever you want to quote verses and how marriage is hard. It's almost like, and I'll share another story to you. I have a friend that the church that she was going to told her that she needed to do like the 21 day of praying and fasting, being on the floor, sacrificing herself so she could get her husband. She needed to pray, she needed to fast, and she did that. And the preacher said, "You're gonna get married this year." She fasted and she did her prayer and stuff, and then boom, she's not married. Now she mad at God because she's not married, because the church told her that if she does, and she had to give a love offering because that way that the husband, come on. We act like being married. Paul in the Bible also talk about it is sometimes good not to be married because you get to focus on what is priority for God. Now, I'm going to tell you this. Since that woman kind of literally, I don't like to be embarrassed. So when she did that, she actually embarrassed me. I was just like, oh my God, did she just do that to me? And, I'm trained not to want to kick an old lady, but I just felt like, the way she came at me, I was like, okay, you know what I'm gonna do? Number one, I'm not gonna tell people I want to be married. I'm gonna keep that to myself because you don't get to play me like that in front of a whole bunch of people. Number two, let me go ahead and do everything I could possibly do. Let me get a passport and make sure that my passport is stamped from all over the place. Let me take some lessons. Let me go back to school. Let me focus on me and do all these things I've always wanted to do and find joy. Because right now, if you're single, they treat you like they put you in the kiddie table when they invite you to dinner. They invite you to weddings. They put you at the table with a teenager, like as if you're gonna be able to have an intellectual conversation with them. And then they were like, "Oh, you're still not married. You need to go out some more." I'm like, wait a minute. I've traveled all over the place. I work with an institution with nothing but beautiful Black men. I do all these activities. How about maybe said it's not God's timing, but they make it sound like being single is a bad thing. I'm gonna tell you this. I'm they're traveling that I've done. I know if I was married, my husband would look at me like, "What is wrong with you? Sit your butt over there. You ain't going nowhere." Because I know I went to the Dominican Republic, the Congos, went to South Africa. I came back. I went to Egypt. My husband would have looked at me like, "Come on now." I just think that let's enjoy our life. Let's do all these wonderful things, enjoy our lives. But they do make singleness act like it's wrong, it's bad, there's plague. I was told because I had locks, that's why I'm not married. Oh, you know why you're not married? Because you have a house. Because no man's gonna come and be like, you have a house. Oh, you know why you're not married? Because you have a master's degree. Oh, you know why you're not married? You have a PhD. You know why? Come on. It's like they have all these reasons except for the fact that God is perfect.
That's all right.
It's hard. And then when you do meet people, I'm going to leave that for y'all to talk about. But it's hard out there. But my advice, enjoy your life. Let God be God. I'm gonna yield back and let somebody else talk.
What about? I mean, you didn't cover this one. Maybe you didn't have this experience. But what about after you're not married by a certain time? Then you must not like men. What about that?
Yes. Oh, what? Something so. After 30, that says something wrong with her. She must not like that.
And
yeah. After you get a certain age, then the reason for you not being married must be that you don't like men, right? Yep. We have to do better. And that was when I had hair. You know what I'm saying? They even said that when I had hair. You know what I'm saying? So I can only imagine what they say now that you
have hair, right?
Help us, God. Okay.
Oh,
so when you don't have hair, you must. That's the problem. I knew that was the reason she not married, right? Come on. And so we have to do so much better right? Forget the fact that okay, maybe it's alopecia. Like that don't even like whatever it is. The point is we got to do better, right? Just overall, because if anything, guess what? And I think we don't do enough of this in our churches is actually talk about this. We don't talk about dating. We don't talk about the process. Yeah, we may have single ministries, but most single ministries that I'm aware of, they're doing like different activities. They having movie nights. They going bowling. No, we need to have these discussions, and then maybe if we had these discussions, people wouldn't end up in so many crazy situations, right? And it wouldn't be where they think something is wrong with them because they are single, you know. And so we really need to talk about this more within the church. So this is a great topic that we're even discussing because it's just whole lot that comes along with this, and we don't want those who are really trying and striving to do what God is calling them to do to be discouraged along the way by those who just don't even know what to say to people. So yeah.
You guys are absolutely right, because a lot of the single ministries that I know, when they do movie nights or go out bowling, that's just so other singles could find other singles so they could hurry up and get married. That's not to discuss the journey of being single and how to navigate it and how to do it God's way, and how, and the realities and of what it is to be single, because it's not always easy. Like, let's keep it a buck. Like,
it
we're
it
in
may not
flesh.
it may not always be easy, but I think there also needs to be an understanding of it's your life, right? And at this part of your life, you're single and you're doing things, and you have your job and you have your ministry and all these other things. Marriage may not be the be all end all for everybody. And I think that if they stopped looking at it as life doesn't start until you get married, so that you're not, people aren't chasing it down and trying to meet just about anybody because you got to get married because you don't want to sit at the kiddie table anymore, and you don't want anybody to ask you about being single anymore, and you don't want them doing that. Oh, you're still, you don't want it, it's to me, it's, you have this whole big life, you have all these different things that you are a daughter, you are a niece, you are, you have your career, you have all these other things, and being single is part of your life. It is not, that's all you are, and because you have, you're single, life is just horrible for you. It doesn't have to be that way. Will there be times that you feel a little uncomfortable? Will there be times when there's loneliness? Absolutely. But you're going to tell me that people that are married don't have those issues also? They do. I think if they would stop making it that unless you are married, your life is no good, I think people would look at it differently. And I think it needs to come from the top down, because that group in the middle that is, having these conversations, it's unnecessary, and it gives people the wrong idea of what your life is supposed to look like, because there will be people that don't get married for a number of reasons. Does that mean their life is has no value? I don't, I
Yeah.
just don't look at it that way. And dating, I came from the Catholic Church. I wasn't dating anybody. You went to mass and you went home, so I can't even. And then when I moved over, by that point, I was just so caught up in trying to get my life back. I wasn't even thinking about that. So I'm not the best person for that idea. But I just believe that it is, our lives are bigger than singleness. I think you have a full life and you just happen to be a single person. Will you meet someone? Probably. But until you do, you have to live your life, and you have to really and truly enjoy your life. enjoy the dating, even the bad dating. You know, it's a chance for you to work on your communication skills and figure out what you like and what you don't like, and move on from there. But I think to spend day in, day out, weeping, wailing, and gnashing your teeth because it hasn't happened is just setting you up to be very depressed and very unhappy. And that's my spin on that.
And we don't get to sit at the kiddie tables.
Right.
Right.
I would love to address it from a different angle, because yes, we get hit because we're single, but then this is what's interesting. What happens a lot is when someone does begin dating, then you get the corner of people who are talking against it,
Yeah.
right? They're like, oh, now she's not for him, or no, he can do better than that, or she better like, why are we so involved in other people's lives to that extent? If they want to date, then let them date, right? But we get so caught up in us thinking that we know who is for is for who. And did anybody pray about it? But that's the thing right there. Did you pray about it? Like, did God say, oh, you know what, you better intervene in that relationship because that's not gonna work, right? No. If God didn't speak that, why are you in it? Like, be still. Be still. Let God be God. Because guess what? If they are both in God the way that hopefully should be, God's gonna work it out. Whether that's for them to be together or not. But we get too much, and then you get all these little side chats and these side groups and trying to. We gotta do better in church. We've got to do better in this world instead of if the teaching was there, and that oh my God. If the teaching was there in ministries the way that it should be, a lot of stuff would not go on.
Mm-hmm.
But there are certain topics that we stay away from, we don't address, and those are the ones that needs to be addressed. Because we wouldn't have the issues, we wouldn't have the craziness, we wouldn't have the backbiting, we wouldn't have the stabbing in your back. We wouldn't have all of that. And if the teaching was to the extent where it should be. Because if the teaching was lined up with the word of God, then guess what? Our hearts would be better and our ways would be better. We wouldn't just be hearers of the word, but we'd be doers of the word as well. And being a doer, you would know God to make sure your heart is clean. You would know to make sure that your spirit is right. And you would know to pray the prayer, God, created me a clean heart, renew a right spirit with me. And you wouldn't take that lightly. And so then you wouldn't be saying the things that you're saying and doing the things that you're doing in ministry. Okay, I don't want to get
And you were
too
minding
deep in
your own
that one, but
business.
like,
I'm just saying, you would mind your own business and somebody else is dating. It got nothing to do with you. Like you said, it has nothing to do with you. Let the people date. It is not affecting your life. Or are you just mad that it ain't you?
Well, now,
Isn't there a verse for that? Second Thessalonians
my
11.
business.
oh yes, First Thessalonians
Talk about
chapter 4, verse 11, where it talks about minding your own business and living a peaceful life. Absolutely.
there you go.
Mind your business.
And drink your water.
Drink water and mind your business. Hold on,
Stay
let me drink
hydrated and mind the business.
Mm-hmm. I think part of it is, you're right, Jackie. There's a need to have a really clear, healthy dialogue about the whole process, what singleness is about, and do it in a way. And because part of it is, if those that are married are really having good discussion with those that are not married, then you won't see there's this level of desperation where young women are getting into relationship that's not healthy, that's not effective, that's, you know, there's someone that will give or getting in an abusive relationship simply because they want to be married and because they're glorifying the wedding rather than the marriage, not understanding they're willing to take part. Because, and that may actually help eliminate the number of divorces that we are seeing in the church. The part of it is, you know, having really good, healthy discussion, building one another up in the word, and then that way and be so satisfied and content in the Lord. And then when the Lord bless you with someone that is all embraced, and it's not looking like it's, oh, it's about time, or it's, is that the right age, or should you even have conversation, talk to, bring a cohesiveness of relationship together, and so that young women are not thinking that if they're not married there's something's wrong with them. And then we have to come up with slogan that you're enough. I mean, seriously, just read Psalm 139 just to see how God will love you, protect you. God is always there with you, so that you don't have to go ahead and search all these things. But you have young people who feel like life is nothing if they're not married. Being single is actually amazing. And somebody said, being single is of God and is peaceful here. Okay. That's good.
That's my pastor.
Oh, okay. All right. You know, it is peaceful. You come home, you don't have to explain why you try to plan a trip to Tahiti or Thailand, because, you know, because if you are married,
you don't have to worry about the socks. You don't have to worry about the socks at the door.
There you go. There you go. Like,
yeah. The budget for the trip.
Mm-hmm. No.
But we finally got Khaleesi here. Hi, Khaleesi.
Hey.
The additional value.
Girl, listen, let me tell y'all are hilarious. I love y'all to pieces. I mean, there's just been so much addressed. I didn't even know where to start. There's been BMI, there's been attractiveness, there's been the teaching in the church, there's courting and dating. I don't know. I'm a newbie, right? So so all of this, luckily I'm learning as I go, right, with dating and being in church, right? Because I've only been on my faith walk a couple years. But I will say I do agree with everything that's been said. I'll say that just focusing on myself and my walk with God has been the most precious thing that I have. And as a result, I think it's getting easier to maintain this relationships outside of the church, because when I first came in, I was a hot mess. And so I'm still cleaning that up. So yes, that's all I got for now. There's been so much. I mean, I'm just kind of taking it in right now.
We're all work in progress.
True statement.
I know it's the hours getting late, and we all know somebody is already past her bedtime.
My God, that's me. That's me.
Nobody said who. Nobody said who.
It's all right. I literally sent a text that I'm exhausted. Can we? Hey, I'm very disciplined with my sleep. Yes, that is true.
Which helps in your singleness.
Yes.
Right, it helps. But I want to thank you so much for joining me tonight. You know, I love you all so very much. For those of you who don't know, I am a part of this amazing group named the Five Squad, but the name of our group is called New Kingdom Focus LLC. But you can find us on Facebook and YouTube under New Kingdom Marriage. And we have Bible studies Monday through Saturdays at 8:30. We are also on Facebook and YouTube at 8:30 on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. We have further discussions about marriage and preparing for marriage, preparing for our future kingdom spouses, and just the different topics and different journeys that we express. So you can find us on Facebook and YouTube, again, under New Kingdom Marriage. I want to thank you, ladies, again so much for joining us. And also, before we leave, Jackie, she is the owner of GC, the Jackie Gilchrist Consulting, and she also has a book. I'm gonna put the link in after the show, but the name of the book is A Boot Camp for Love: 30 Days to Renewed Relationships. Powerful guide to ensure strong, lasting, and successful relationships. And you can find that on Amazon. And we're going to have the link for you. Again, thank you all so much for joining us tonight. We will be back next Sunday. Hopefully, it's going to be a topic that I've been trying to get in for the past 4 weeks. But catch us every Monday at 10 p.m. And thank you again. We hope you enjoyed the conversation. Thank you, Dr. Shaman. Thank you, Pastor Jackie. Thank you, Felicia. And thank you, Tracy, so much. We love you all. Don't forget to comment, like, share, and go over to the YouTube channel and subscribe. All right. Good night, everybody. Deuces.